Georgia beats Georgia Tech in clean, old-fashioned hate. Nothing clean about it. In an ugly game, Georgia 16, Georgia Tech 9. What do you take away from this game if you're a Georgia fan? Does it make you feel a little bit a little heebie-jeebie-ish? You feel a little bit uncomfortable after this game? I get where that comes from. Also, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, this was kind of been a weird couple of weeks where you're in the college football playoff hunt, and then you have the Pitt game happen, and then this game happens. You're like, wait a second, was this our year and we missed our window? We will unpack both sides of this. If you're a college football sicko, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like you're up at whatever time you need to be up at to watch your favorite pregame show, to into your tailgate, to into college football the rest of the day, whether you're at the game or whether you're watching from the Roku Arena, as we call it on this show, a.k.a. your living room. If you love college football, make sure you're subscribed because it's college football year-round, and we are in a beautiful part of the year where we're about to talk some playoff football, about to talk some conference title weekend football. So lock in. Water's fine. So again, Georgia, 16, Georgia Tech, 9. Here's what I want to get out in front of this entire segment. Resist the urge to give into the temptation, which is just, we could stop the sentence right there. That's probably a good rule for life. Resist the temptation, though, in this sense, to have the take of, well, hey, I don't know, George looked a little bit human. Well, hey, I don't know, Gunnar Stockton didn't have a great day at the office. George only scored 16 points. What's going on? I said this in a different video, but I'll say it again. Rivalry weekend to me is a lot like spring break. It's real life, but like, is it really real life? Like, I don't know, my real life, I don't wake up at Yosemite National Park with my best friends. Like, my real life, I don't go down to the pool Monday through Friday and just do whatever I want to do. My real life isn't an all-inclusive resort, but spring break is. Okay, so while spring break is real life, it's not really reliable with how you should assess your life going forward. Kind of like rivalry weekend. Emotions dialed up. Things get a little bit weird. You kind of throw logic out the window, throw records out the window. You should account for it, but I don't think it should be the data point that you assess your football team by, especially if you're Georgia here. Like, if you want to be worried about Gunnar Stockton, okay, he didn't look all that great against Georgia Tech, be my guest, dude. Like, please be my guest. I will buy all your Gunnar Stockton stock that I can find because I think he's a lot closer to 5 incompletions, 5 total touchdowns that he did not once but twice this season that allowed Georgia to be playing for an SEC championship. I think that's probably closer to who Gunnar Stockton is. So if you want to, sell your Gunnar Stockton because of this game, I think that's a little bit irresponsible, a little bit inappropriate. Not great to have that look before you go play Bama, but I don't think it's reliable with who Gunnar Stockton is and who this Georgia offense is. If anything now, the side of the ball we've been saying all year long makes me nervous for Georgia is the defense. And the defense just continues to slowly but surely, if it's a graph, it's up and to the right. All right, that's Georgia right now. That defense held an offense that's one of, a couple of weeks ago, the best in college football to 9 points and 69 yards rushing. That is impressive on a number of levels because Georgia, over the course of this season, what have they been? A little bit, for lack of a better term, undisciplined on some fronts. Not showed up with the same amount of violence we're used to seeing from Georgia. A couple of just different things that make me feel a little bit weird when it comes to how Georgia's approaching things on the defensive side of the football. To me, Georgia defensively just looks like they're in overall better shape. I'm not talking about conditioning. I'm talking about just the way the defense is trending. I feel much better about this defense and what they've rounded it into than what I saw a couple of weeks ago or even a couple months ago against Tennessee and Knoxville. That's not saying anything less of Tennessee. That's just the fact of the matter. Now, when you look at the way that Georgia has grown, the question becomes, well, how much have they grown relative to what they were when they played Alabama the first time? Because if you want to win the SEC, and Kirby Smart wants to win the SEC, are you 3 points better than when you played them the last time? Because that was how much you lost by. Are you 3 points better than Alabama? Have you improved that much? Because Alabama, they've also improved. They've also gotten better. But I think looking at what this offense is now versus what it was then, looking at this defense now versus what it was then, I would say so. I think Alabama's probably improved, but I think just going off of what that Georgia team was when they played them, I think they're probably a full touchdown better to keep it a buck. I think Gunnar Stockton's more comfortable. Defense feels like they're more comfortable in their own skin. They're playing the ball better in the air. When Ellis Robinson is, that is. Like there's so much with Georgia where I just say, okay, I think you're starting to settle in. They weren't settled in for the first 2 months, but true to Kirby Smart fashion, this team's playing their best ball in November, running into December, and the college football playoff. So I feel like I know who Georgia is, and I think that's going to serve them well here down the stretch. whether they win the SEC or not. But make sure you're subscribed. We'll have a take for you there as well throughout the course of this week. Now, really quickly on Georgia Tech, I know it feels like if you're a Tech fan, this was the year because you got Haynes King, you got Jamal Haynes, you got Brent Key here in year 3 of the experience. Had a promising year last year. The ACC's up for grabs, and it kind of fell apart. And so you're saying, dang it, did we miss our chance? And while it feels that way, I don't think it's that way because of who your head coach is. And at least at the time of us recording this, I don't have anything that would make me believe Brent Key's not going to be your head coach here going forward. If that changes, we'll have a different discussion. But I think everything with who Brent Key is, if that's who Georgia Tech football is, you're going to be in good shape here. Like, is the ACC all of a sudden like some juggernaut conference that you can't win only on a window year? I don't think so. I think it'll be up for grabs every single year. Brent Key is physical, tough, relentless, gritty, competitive, all those things. Georgia Tech embodying that, and those things, honestly, quite frankly, even permeating the Georgia Tech football program here going forward. It's only year 3. What's it like in year 4 for Georgia Tech? I think they're only going to keep building and ascending and being in good shape here the rest of the way. I know it hurts if you're Georgia Tech with the way this year went and the way this game went, but I'm not selling any Brent Key stock, and I don't think you would be wise to do that either. So make sure you're subscribed. Georgia fans, Tech fans, let me know in the comment section how the vibes are after this one. Probably a weird feeling for both sides. But for Cato on the ones and twos, for myself, Jody PicKell, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.